They teach you to spell, but isn't that what a witch does, is cast spells? Grammar comes from the French book of grimoire, which was a spell casting book, so that we can write. But doesn't a witch create rites? Hey guys, this is Dan from the Sons of Light, and I have a little test for Christians out there, and it's regarding language. And I have a question for you. Would you ever speak negative words all day long to cause you to fail at life despite your prayers? Would you ever teach your children to speak in a way that caused them not to succeed at life? You say, well, of course not. I would never do that. I follow the tenets of the Bible. I believe in speaking positive words and such. So I'm going to let you ponder on this for a minute. And I'm going to read something to you. And I'm going to pose to you that there are things that you do not know which are causing you to fail at certain things or not achieve all of the things that you would like to achieve in life. Remember, Jesus said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. All right, are you ready? So I'm going to read this to you from the English language. In the morning, you awake after resting in peace. You get prepared for your job, to do your undertakings during the weekdays, so you can acquire your earnings to pay your bills, and you are charged to discharge them. So you are fine and you don't get fined. So you can make it to the weekend if you're not too weakened by the weekdays. And when we're young, we're driven to school and schooled in a fish-like school to learn to languish in our language, where we had to spell, casting our thoughts on grammar, so we can write our own sentences on terms of getting a good grade for the term and the terms of the school. With our own sentences, we stand under the authority of the author of our captivity, not to lose the syllable of our syllables or our syllables, learning to speak phony, phonetic phones from the merchant law of the hidden Phoenician slave trade. We got our training from the government, which is Latin for control of the mind. So we'll walk through this one more time, because I think just from me reading this, you're catching on to a little bit of something that you do every day that is right in your face, coming right off your tongue, and yet you don't even know you're doing it. Jesus said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. We know that as a man thinks, so is he. And we also know that it is said that it's not that what goes into a man that makes him unclean, but what comes out of him, our words and our actions. So let's look at this little short just piece of the English language. And you'll notice something very strange. You'll notice that there are things you do not know that are right in your face that has been used to limit your life. In the morning. Morning is something you do for someone who has died. You awake. You go to a wake after someone has passed away. And you rest in peace when you die. Get prepared for a job and do your undertakings like an undertaker does for the dead. You do this during the weekdays, which they put you in a weekdays throughout the week in your slavery. so you can acquire your earnings. And an urn is something that they place the ashes of a dead person in. So you can pay your bills that you are charged with. Draining your energy, you discharge them so that you feel fine and you don't get fined. Also, you can make it to the weekend when your weakness ends, if you're not too weakened by the weekdays you are in. Are you catching on to the language you speak every day, but don't realize that you're saying it? When you're young, you're driven to go to school, and you get schooled, herded, or grouped together like fish, like dumb animals, to learn to languish in your language. Isn't that something? The key to this is the main factor, the main things you start to learn now in your school. They teach you to spell, but isn't that what a witch does, is cast spells? You cast your thoughts onto the grammar they teach you of how to understand and speak these spells. Grammar comes from the French book of Grimoire, which was a spell casting book of black magic in French, so that we can write. But doesn't a witch create rights? Our own sentences, and isn't a prisoner sentenced? Or are we doing things that sentence us for the rest of our life by this formation of the language and what we're taught? The entrapment of our mind, sentencing us to a lifetime of direction under someone else's control. And we do this for the terms and the term that is set in these schools. And we do this under their authority, but we're really under their captivity, this English language. And through that, the whole world has been put under, perhaps, a type of limiting mind control by the speaking of words that cause us to think as dead people. Because when we go to court, now we are considered a dead man at sea. It is why they require us to have an attorney, because dead people cannot speak for themselves. There is a whole nother language involved in legal terms called legalese. So that is a whole nother language. When you go into court, you think you're speaking English, they're speaking English back to you. But when you say certain words in English, it means a whole different thing that entraps you into being sentenced all over again and fined. It can make you end up in jail and you not know why. So to prove some of this point here and the power of words, and whoever has created this to entrap us and to limit our true potential, believing that we are nothing more than cattle to be herded, or perhaps they fear us and they want to keep us as slaves through our own language. There was a Japanese doctor who spent his time studying the effects of language and energies on water crystals. And we know that our bodies are almost 80% water. They would take vials of water and they would speak to them, "I love you," and then they would freeze the water and photograph the water crystals. The "I love you" would form water crystals that were beautiful, that looked like snowflakes. And then they would say, "I hate you." And they would film these water crystals and they would be mangled and ugly. They would play beautiful music like Mozart and freeze the water, and the water crystals would be beautiful like snowflakes. And then they would play heavy metal or rap music, and the water crystals would be mangled and ugly. Our bodies are mostly water. And the language and the tonality of the way we speak and the words we use affect the water crystals and the energy in our bodies. It affects everything, our accomplishments. The Bible tells us about the way we speak and what it causes and what it does, and how our thinking brings peace and health or brings destruction. However, we read that, but we don't understand that we are understanding. We are taking a stand under something. I did this little exercise with you for some of you to be able to clearly get a picture and become enlightened to the fact that there are things you don't know about. And through that, it is through knowledge that you prevent yourself from perishing, just as Jesus said. There are things you still need to learn in life to advance yourself. I have spent now 30 years diving into dark secrets of hidden things that we should have learned about to prevent ourselves from being harmed, and studying the things that benefit, help, and increase our lifespan, that make us healthy, that clear our mind, bring us peace, and get us closer to God. This is why we have created a university called the Abundant Life University. And this is why people, when they go there with relationship problems, when they are having issues with their children or trying to figure out things, dealing with depression, and there are things that you've yet to learn. And when you do learn them, they will advance your life. If you would like to learn a whole lot more of interesting subjects about things you thought you knew, or about making a better life for yourself as a Christian, because this whole entire ministry is about advancing Christians in what we call Satan's short season, and unveiling what the enemy has been doing and keeping hidden, trying to steal our nations, and unveiling the things that have been done to cause us limited prosperity, and to provide as much information in short lessons, audio books, easy to learn things at your own free time, and enjoy unveiling secrets that advance your life. Check out in the link below information about the Abundant Life University, and also about the Sons of Light, which is our ministry, taking this knowledge to the world and advancing the kingdom in a way that the modern church has failed to do. All right, this is Dan Collier for the Sons of Light. Check out the link below if you'd like to learn more.